your microwave. I couldn't sleep last night, so at around midnight, 12:30, I decided to try and change things up, change the environment, and got some thoughts on paper, and then kind of left it all probably an hour later and went back to bed. But I now have, how many notebooks did I end up using? Touching sounds weird, but so to not sleep and to try and break the cycle of a couple bad nights sleep. And it didn't work because I was still doing this at 12:30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notebooks, thinking about inking some stuff up for May. Good times, great classics, gold 104. Not too messy, all things considered. So I'm gonna flick the kettle on. I've got a new, not new actually, old mug, but I wanted to use this mug for my morning cup of tea. My mum made me this in 1993. Quick math, so it's a 33-year-old mug, which is pretty cool. Wet on the bottom because I just rinsed it. Who knows what kind of carcinogenic chemicals are in this paint, but that's okay. Her backwards elephant, still to this day really the only thing I can draw. So I'm going to flick the kettle on and set myself up, and here we go. Try and make sense. Let's make sense of this, shall we? Okay, with a bit of a delay, I am ready. It is 8:11. Oh, I didn't say hi last time. Hi, guys. Ooh, bit of a testy pop in my voice there. Hi, guys. Sarah here. Welcome back. So, cleared things off, pulled out pens based on what I'd written that I was thinking of. I'm not going to ink this many up, but I want to choose from here. There's some ones that I haven't used in a while that I'm definitely wanting to use again. I just need to use this again because I loved it so much. So these are the pens I'm thinking of. Part of the delay was my partner FaceTimed me. It's a public holiday here in Australia. It's also a weekend. And a friend of hers is coming over to her place this morning. She's helping her out with some interview prep. And so she ducked out to get some coffee and some milk and da-da-da. And she totally forgot that it's public holiday. And she is, well, she went all the way, not all the way, she went to Prahran Market, which is kind of near Chapel Street. It was closed, so then she went to Chapel Street because coffee shops, if you have a business with like less than 20 people, you can open up or something. Anyway, so she was parked outside waiting for it to open at 8, what is probably known as one of Melbourne's like dirtiest nightclubs called Revs, watching people stumble out from their Friday night. So just had a good laugh at the fact that she got up bright and early and couldn't do anything. But in the midst of that, laughing, singing the song, War, What Is It Good For? And getting some inks out and everything else, I am here. Half drank my cup of tea, but there we go. I finished my last Traveller's Standard notebook that I've been doing my currently inked and inky thoughts and everything else in. I had this one next. This isn't the dot grid, this is the lightweight. And the ink does do better on this paper, so I thought I would use this one and just use my guide to try and write in a straight line, which I can never do. And didn't do as many thoughts, but in terms of, I wasn't overly obsessed with everything from April. Some things I did like, but some things that I have kind of settled on are, I'm going to carry this pen over. This is the Jinhao A10 with Colourverse Dust Storm. I still have some ink in there. How much? But I've really enjoyed it, actually. Oh, whoops. Not too much. Or maybe I don't carry that over. There's not too much in there. And I still have a couple days left of April. So I'll probably just end up writing that dry. There you go. Didn't check that before and already got ink on my hands. But I was going to think about carrying that over. I really enjoyed that more than I thought. Really enjoyed my Franklin Christoph with the blue. something's still not right with my Pilot Vanishing Point, so I'm just going to give that a break. And I have absolutely fallen in love with this pen, which is the Asvine V126. This is kind of the theme that I'm going with for May. In my little ink catalogue that I've been doing, things are going to tip over. So I'm splitting this book into 3 sections. Tell me if you want to flip through of this. So section 1 is colours. Pardon me, needed to sneeze. That's very Manda of me. Section 2 is what I've been working on, which is just kind of my themes. You know, Ink School with Wine in the title, with Rose, Garden Parties, Wonders of Weather. So as I was doing that, the inks that are kind of creating what I call, I guess, natural beauty, flowers and gardens and weather and nature, I've just really liked, I've remembered some colours and really liked it. So that's kind of what's inspired that. And then what I'll do for section 3 is just some of the collections, like a page for each kitty ink pot season, etc. But I really love how that's coming together. And I've left space to add things as time goes on. But yes, if you would like me to do a proper flip through of that, maybe once I get the section 3 done, let me know. Thinking about inks that I've kind of categorized as natural beauty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I wrote down 12 or 13. I've definitely pulled out more than that because I added some in as I was pulling out. But these are kind of the inks that I'm thinking, so we're going to kind of swatch through them. And then I also I've missed these 3 pens, the Kaweco Sport with my fixed adjusted nib and feed. My Travelers Company brass I haven't used in like a couple of months and I really miss it. I know I use the Pilot E95S almost every month, but I didn't use it in April and I want it back. And that definitely itching to use the Frost, the Asvine, and I haven't used this yet. This is from a pen friend of mine who also gave me the Esterbrook, the TWSBI Diamond Mini, which I've actually never used before. I haven't used a TWSBI in a while, and I definitely want to use this one for May. And maybe, I actually pulled out 3 Kawecos. Maybe we have a Kaweco heavy month. My student 1970s and the Supra as well. So definitely, like I inked up more pens in April than usual. Some of them have worked, some of them haven't, but I've just been liking the variety and feeling, I guess, my version of creative lately. So kind of wanting to stick with that more, and I am okay if I don't end up writing everything dry, if I don't like it, just letting it go, etc. Before we jump into that though, I just wanted to do this. I haven't been totally happy with how my swatches are looking lately. I've kind of been trying to do different sizes and different things. I think because of what I've been doing in that catalogue, I've just been wanting to be quite basic, so I've done that the last couple times. I do think there is still something here. I just have to work out how to do it. But I thought I would just spend some time trying out different swatching shapes to see if anything kind of sparks joy, as Marie Kondo would say. Even though I'm not spring cleaning, it's really just about, yeah, it's something's missing. And so I thought I'd just pick one of the inks and maybe just spend a few minutes doing that. It'll probably be a bit of a longer video, but what do we want to title this? It's like, I love that it has grids and I still cannot write in a straight line. I find as well when I'm filming, I have like this self-imposed, what is it? It's like I write fast. It's like, I don't need to, just take your time. Now, what I'm thinking of is maybe picking an ink that has a short title, so I'm not spending tons of time writing. And I'll pull out the different things that I'm thinking. I think there's just one more thing I want to grab. Okay, I'm back. I used to pretty consistently do the sandwich bag, snaplock bag, swatching, and I don't know, it just hasn't been working for me lately. And to be honest, I'm quite time poor. It takes a lot of time. I end up making much more mess. So that's just not my vibe at the moment. I love the swink that like Simone and I think Mandy B, bookish artist Mandy use. I don't have one and I don't want to go and buy a whole bunch of resin to make one, and I'm trying to get, so that's not something, but I don't know, something just with, I guess the squiggle is not hitting everything that I need it to at the moment. If you want to check out what I think are the best swatching squiggles out there, I'd have a look at Eleanor's Instagram. Oh, the squiggle perfection. And I think when I do it, I just never kind of get it in the same way, but then it also doesn't look organic enough for me. So I guess that's kind of like your basic squiggle. I have been enjoying writing it with the more kind of calligraphy nib. So for all of these, I'm using Robert Oster Wind because it just felt like a shorter ink title. This is in the Any Day Now notebook, so different paper quality to the Hobonichi that I do then the swatching in. The paper is not as good, but I think it gets a bit of an idea. If I had tons of patience, I would do a swatch, wait for it to totally dry, then maybe come in and write over the top, but that's just not going to happen. So that's kind of my go-to squiggle. There's also, I guess, just the option of doing like a swatch, like just something. I don't know. I like it for cataloging purposes, but it's not the most exciting thing in the world. I do like the idea of something a bit more organic or just splodgy, like that kind of. But then I'm not ever super happy with it. I love, it's in my other book. I can go and grab it. Janine Scribbles on Instagram does these beautiful circles. And I just never find that I can totally get it. They're never going to be the same. So see, because she has like gaps. So that hasn't worked because that's just like a full circle. I don't know if maybe this is too wide. I love her circles. I've just dipped it again and tried to take a lot of the excess ink off to try a bit of a circle again. Let's see, I just don't. No, I can't do that. Don't like that. The reason I was saying about what if I let it totally dry is to then kind of like write over the top. mean, if I really want to use all different types of, just adding to the complications of it all. I would love to know, how did you find your swatching shape happy place? Especially if you're like me and being quote unquote artistic doesn't come naturally. How did you find what works for you? Or do you just not care? You just want to see the ink and get it in a pen. That's kind of what matters to you. It's, you know, it's a personal preference, I guess, for everyone. I do think it is nice to see how things change over time. You know, people talk about preferences with nib sizes or grinds changing over time. But I think also, like, who among us hasn't? Let's do a poll. Hit like on the video if at least once a year, probably closer to 2 or 3 times, you end up re-swatching your entire collection for what you have found is the new perfect method of cataloging and swatching Wearingle cards or catalogs or this. Like, we all do it, right? We all keep changing again and again and again. And it's enjoyable. We do it because we love it, but then you also get like halfway through and you're like, why have I done this? Why have I done this to myself? It's not what it's about. Like, I kind of like that idea, but then it's not exactly right on the paper. I actually don't mind that as much. Like, now that it's drying, I like that one a bit more, but we shall see. Yes, hit like, because I feel like we all do it, and it's not a pain, but then it is also a big task. And then we set ourselves these guidelines of, no, I have to re-swatch everything like this, and now I'm going to sort by color, and now I'm going to sort by brand, and you know, like these self-imposed, it's not a rule, it's like these self-imposed quests. There you go, quests that we put on ourselves. Why do we do it? I don't know why, but we do it. I wonder what the most someone has like decided to re-swatch their collection in 1 year has been. So the other things that I've been playing with, kind of inspired by the swinks that I've seen, but I don't have anything that's small, but I have a little, it's like a spice jar, I feel, that's glass. And I was kind of playing with doing something like this. And there's a few options. There's like a press and turn. Or if I go in again, and again, this does take a little bit longer because I'm using my muddler to just then line the edge of it, or there's just a press. I think I like the press more than the press and turn. Or there is also, if I just clean that off, and this is also quite, oh, do you know what? Silly. I want to do that end. I was doing the bottom, but what if I actually want to do the rim is what I was playing with the other day. So that's what I meant to do, is the rim. Show you what one press looks like. There is something to that I quite like. And so we can remember, maybe I just come in here and say, that's the bottom of the jar. Oh, smudged, of course. And this is the top of the jar. I started playing with this when I was kind of trying to think about that negative space idea, which I have not worked out yet, but I really do think there's something there, because then where my mind goes is writing inside, but I don't like it all being inside. So like, do I just write, you know, like the title, and then do I get annoyed with myself that it isn't centered? Do I add the title in, the ink brand, pardon me? There's going to be less of those to a page, but I do kind of like that. There is then also the option of, okay, she's back. I made myself a peppermint tea while I was waiting for it to dry and finding what I wanted to find. And I grabbed a sandwich bag because while I'm doing this exploration, this will probably end up just being its only video. Might as well try that. But thought I'd go for the peppermint tea to try and soothe my throat. I actually don't mind that. There's something there. I think this could be a good option. But what I was thinking about was, I'm not sure who, I feel like I remember Maria talking about, but not actually doing that. Some people just use like the lid of a vial. And when I have tried that before, I'll show you. My issue is if I put ink like directly onto the lid and then put it down, you always kind of get that dot in the middle. But maybe we can try a side by side of that, and then if I actually do a pipette or a syringe. The other option with the ring type thing is not a twist, but doing kind of like just slowly going outside the circle like that. Now that is kind of cool. Ooh, I kind of like that. And maybe because I want it to dry a little bit before I write, it'll kind of force me to slow down and take in the inks potentially. So what I was just talking about before was if I do like this, I mean, this is going to be a disaster. I know it's going to end up. So there's a couple different options. Like you can do like this and twist. Oh, it didn't actually do it, but I am getting kind of the grooves. This is slightly textured, so I could have maybe, like, it could just be the wrong lid. I might need to test different lids. Oh, I spilt some there. The other option would be just to literally just go down and up. That's kind of cool too. Down and up with less. I feel like this lid is slightly textured. I wonder if I have a really, really smooth one. I'm not sure if I do. I mean, this has ink in. No, see, that's got a little doobie whacker on it. If I put a drop there, and then you can go bigger, right, as well. Or if you actually go in with the syringe, I just feel like I always end up getting messy. Maybe this is the one that if you do a drop down, even in the really short amount of time it takes me to just put that down and then grab this, if I kind of come in, it's not going to do it. Oh, I don't know if it's coming up on the camera. Can you see just here? Like I can see where that drop went down, that first absorption, and I don't like that. But as this dries, I kind of really, like that. But how do we go then writing in it? I mean, this is kind of cool too. How would we write? I guess there's also the option then to write next to it. Do you know what I'm going to do? So I'm going to do the sandwich bag next. And then I want to do a page of a few of those, writing in, next to, under, and see which one I prefer. That's kind of cool though, that little guy. And then I wonder in an A6, my next swatching notebook will be a B6 size. So I'll be able to get a couple more. But with that, like I'm just not going to get I might get like 4 per, which doesn't feel like a lot. I do kind of like that though. I guess I could also just start that other one. So many options. It's just like, this is for May. It makes so much more sense in my mind to start that swatch book in June, like second half of the year versus May. But then you've got the sandwich bag. I used to only ever do sandwich bag. I think my first or my second ink swatching book is just total sandwich bag. And I feel like less is always more in terms of the amount of ink you put down, but I don't know, it just hasn't been, it's just been a bit NQR. And then I think I have been struggling with the less is more. I end up always putting the bag down one too many times and then I'm not happy with it. That was probably the right amount of ink, I have to say. I've been working, like creating lists in the background of kind of this alphabet themed list swatch thing. And I do like the idea of using the sandwich bag for like the title page. Still thinking about that also. And then you could come in here, and I used to kind of, I wouldn't always do it to the side, sometimes underneath. You know, you can kind of do it wherever. How beautiful is this color, by the way? So you could come into the side, or if you want to actually just write it a little bit smaller, like I usually would just find a gap almost and go in here. I just think my handwriting isn't as nice with this Pilot Iro Otsushi. Capital, cursive, da-da-da. So those are some other options. There is something about that one that's kind of cool. Not feeling those. Very true Sarah fashion. I paused to try one thing and 20 minutes later I've tried a bunch of things. This is where my head's at. I kind of like this little thing and I wanted to see, but I do like this as well, especially for like capturing a currently inked. I really like that. Knowing that my current swatch book, but I don't have too many pages left, is A6, but my next one's going to be B6. This is my little like brain dump Stalogy, so the paper's not as good, but I just wanted to see what I would get. And I'm not going to get enough on a page. I don't like it crossing over. It bleeds into that too much. And I went and actually pulled out a bottle because I was using all of that sample. So I'm just using Cashmere Rose here, and that's Isadora. I don't like that. So that's a no. And then I went, okay, but what would it look like on B6? And I actually quite like that. So maybe it's along the lines of when I'm doing bigger things, looking at the little splodgies, and then for the currently inked, kind of like that. So that's something. I think I might be heading in the right direction. I also I didn't let it dry. I wondered if the 5ml bottles you get from from So and So would be kind of the right size, but I don't know if you can see there, it's not flat, so it didn't entirely work. This was using the cap again, but doing a couple of splodgies just to get a bit of a wider range, a bigger swatch, who knows what word I'm trying to say. So that I actually quite like. This didn't have enough ink on it, and I don't like that little dappled, like, so that's no, it's really going to be thinking about the amount of ink I have on the cap. This was down here, was I just put a few drops on there and just kind of let it soak in. Not exactly what I want, but then with the remnants, I just kind of want to decorate the bottom of the page. And I actually, there's something there for maybe more like that kind of ink research and pen and ink research book I'm doing, easier than the sandwich bag as well. But there is something there. So, and if I did that, I could then, once I've inked the pens up, write in there with the pen what it is. So I kind of like that, and I like that, and I like that. But then the last thing I want to just try, this will definitely have to be its own video because I've been gas bagging along here for way too long, is I just want to do a series of the rings and then look at the different ways to write in it, next to it, yada, yada, yada. I say yada, yada, yada so much now, and I entirely blame my partner. She's a massive Seinfeld fan, and she says it all the time. I reckon a year ago, how many times a year did I say the word yada? Once. Now, 50 times a day. Easily. That was 5. That was 5 press downs. Can you hear the glass against glass? And is that really annoying? Because I would like to know that as well. That's 1 ring. 2, maybe I'll just see if I can do 2 more. So I'm not going to do 2 more, because then in terms of how I write it, there's a few different, oh my God, the people that have moved in upstairs have, and I feel so hypocritical saying this, they have young kids and they stomp and jump all hours of the day. And like, I know my kids run around, but I'm conscious of it, and I try and no, you can't jump off the table onto the floor, son. Not just because we have downstairs neighbors, but I don't want you to break bones. So there's, and I guess this will also tell me what happens if I have a longer ink title. Robert Oster. This paper is, that wasn't good, quite absorbent. So the dip doesn't last as long. And then it can do things like that as well if I don't move fast. Oh, that's annoying. Cashmere Rose. I could write next to it. I did it again. Way too big. Okay. Don't like that. I don't feel like that kind of brings out that kind of negative space thing that I'm talking about. Whoop, knocking over ink samples. That one I don't like. There's something there. I messed up that little thing, or I mean, there's actually, now that I'm doing this, I have a few more options already. Just going to do 2 more circles then. I would like to know if you could hear that and it's super annoying, tell me. And if that setup of like, that's literally how long it took me to just do it. If that feels like it's too long. I do like the idea of that for currently inked, but I can always like set that page up before as well. I love that I started this with like, I'm time poor, I don't have time, da, 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 da. And now I'm like, what is the most complicated pre-setup I can do? My one thought with this, and I don't think I'm going to like this, but I just want to see, I feel like there's going to be too much ink on this. I just want to see what happens if I do this. Splodge. Oh, maybe I like it more than I thought I would. I don't know if that's the right cap, but just another play on that negative space. The other option would be to write the brand in just a finer, or plainer writing, Robert, and then do the title of the ink in that more flexy type way. This nib definitely behaves better on the better quality paper. Oh, don't know what happened to my E there. That's another option. That doesn't work if I am going to use the pen to write in. And I think for that, if we're in it this far, let's just fully commit to see what happens. I'm just dipping the TWSBI in there. So if I just wrote with the pen it was going to be in. I'm not sure if I like that, and I don't think that nib's on there properly. I'll see, and I went uppercase there, and then not. But or I could, you know, if I did something like that, and then underneath could say like this kind of there's something there. I mean, I've just dipped that in, so it's not a saturated or not plied, whatever the word I'm looking at. The feed is like I've literally just dipped. So I like this. I actually kind of like that, but what does it achieve? Do you know what this achieves? I'm so smart. Okay, leave that. I have an idea for that. It's in the noggin. It's in the brain. I think I like the first and third here. I don't actually mind writing what it was in underneath. I kind of really like this, and I know the writing will be better on better paper, which means in terms of then the currently inked. Oh no. So it definitely will be 2 videos because I just spilt my first ever bottle of ink. I've been cleaning for 20 minutes already. I've sprayed everything. I'm focusing on the floor first because my floorboards actually are old and are very absorbent. And then my walls look like a crime scene, but I am still in the process of renovating, hence the bottom down there. So if I need to repaint over that, not the end of the world, but what the F? It's all over me. Chairs, I reckon it went like 1.5 meters up the wall. Oh my God, I guess the time comes, it has to happen to everyone once. That was, I'd say 90% full. Not anymore. All right, well, good times. I'll be on the floor scrubbing for the next a bazillion hours. What's funny is when I did that little film thing at the start of like getting ready, and I was like, you're not a vlogger, Sarah, what are you doing? And now I'm literally giving you updates. The wall, thank God for good quality paint, I guess, has come up fine. Oh, I just found some more. Oh my God, I found some more. The floor, oh my goodness. And then I didn't realize some was on a chair, and then I dragged the chair and made it even more. So come on Bunnings, the pink stuff. Let's see what we can do. And I've probably been cleaning for like half an hour now. Oh, and I don't have any more milk, so I can't make another cup of tea. Good times. Maybe, is it ever too early for wine? I don't think so on a day like today. Well, that was eventful. What a disaster. I don't even know where I was. I mean, I caught up on some Amanda 30 days videos. So thanks, Amanda, for hanging out with me while I was on my hands and knees scrubbing. I feel like I'm covered in ink and soap and, well, not soap, detergent, whatever. But I guess these have dried. Definitely will be a couple of videos now because I didn't even talk about pens. I didn't swatch any inks, but I wanted to do a little bit of exploration in terms of how I want to swatch or if I want to change things up. So I don't like the rings on the A6. I'm quite confident in that. I don't mind the 6 to a page when I move to my B6. This was that first page we did. Yeah, the sandwich bag is nice. I just sometimes aren't happy with it. I don't know if I'll ever be able to recreate this guy, but I do quite like that. But then this is kind of where we've landed, somewhere between this and maybe for smaller ones, that. I think something like this for the currently inked and that for swatching. I do have an idea for this that I'm really excited about actually. But I mean, the saying let's quit while we're ahead doesn't really apply at the moment. Let's quit while we're not ahead. I think Sarah needs to shower, make another cup of tea because this one went cold, and do some deep breathing, and then probably stop referring to herself in the third person. So I will regroup. I will edit this. I think I'm just going to post it anyway. It's kind of funny, but I think the exploration has been helpful. I do think that, the exploration has been helpful, full stop, enter, page break, new page. If you have any ones that you kind of prefer for if you're just doing like smaller ones on the page, something between that and maybe this one. I mean, there's something actually to that there too. Let me know in the comments below. I am interested if anyone's followed through with if you hit like, it means that you do at least re-swatch everything once a year. And if you're someone that, how many different ways of swatching inks do you have currently? How many different methods? I mean, Maria actually does tons. When we did that swatching ink the other month, I think for like one ink, she did 4 or 5 different things. So maybe she might win. Maria, let me know. Oh God, guys. All right. Shower, work this mess out, and lie down and cry about having lost half a bottle of ink. good times, great classics. I will regroup, and whether I do this in 2 videos or 3, I will actually then swatch the inks that I pulled out thinking about for May. And then if that one doesn't go too long, then maybe think about some of the pens too. Maybe I'll just do 2, I'll just swatch. So consider this part 1, and I will see you probably in a couple days. I try and post twice a week, post up or whatever. All right, see you later, bye.